Hey there. Welcome back. Tisha here, back for, I don't know what I'm putting this under. I'm thinking I'm going to put it under It's Getting Real because it is getting real. If you don't take anything else from this story, for my Real Housewives of Potomac people, I need you all to understand that Karen is a drunk and she has a problem. And until we call a thing, it's going to continue to be a problem. This is ridiculous. And after watching the body cam footage of her sitting there saying to officers things like, "You must not know who I am, I'm the Grand Dame," and her sitting there lying, talking about how someone ran her off the road, and her having Ray cover up her foolishness when he should have just told her to be quiet, of her stumbling and slurring, it is clear to me that Karen is an alcoholic. She is. Because this is the first time that she's faced these type of charges. People make mistakes, but you can't make mistakes like this. So the Real Housewives of Potomac star Karen Huger was found guilty of driving under the influence and several other charges in Montgomery County, Maryland. In March, Karen crashed her white Maserati, taking down multiple street signs in a Potomac neighborhood lined with cherry trees. She was not injured. Let's be clear. The way that says that makes you feel like it wasn't a big deal. Her car was tow up, to the point where I'm probably going to put an image of it in the thumbnail. It was smashed in the front, smashed on the side. The top of the hood was bent in. I think if I remember correctly, based on the image, the airbag deployed at one point while officers were interviewing her, or trying to question her. The car actually was on fire. So this wasn't a little, "Oh, I accidentally ran into a sign or two and I crashed my car." This was, I probably ran across the media and some other stuff because I was drunk driving. A jury found her guilty of DUI, negligent driving, failure to control speed to avoid collision, and failure to notify of address change. The Montgomery Sheriff's Attorney Office said the jury cleared her of reckless driving charges. I don't understand how you can get a DUI and that not be considered reckless driving charges. She should have been found guilty of that too. Body camera video was released. If you've been following her case, you know that she tried to get that thrown out. Her attorney tried to get it thrown out. And after seeing it, I understand why they try to get it thrown out, because it shows how awful she was. So on the footage, you see Ray, which is her husband, and Karen standing in front of this car. The officer is asking her if she remembers the accident. She says yes. Officer says, "What happened?" And Karen nonchalantly, can't even talk, nonchalantly is like, "Actually, nothing really." Excuse me? Your car is tow up. You're sitting here stumbling all over the place and you're trying to say nothing really happened. Then later on, you're going to say somebody tried to run you off the road. So Ray, I'm so hot. Ray says, "Somebody ran you off the road." She's like, "They did." "Yeah, they did." The officer's like, "Do you remember the vehicle?" "No, it was dark. No, I don't really remember." The officer is paying attention to her, is watching how she's stumbling and slurring her speech. When he starts to be like, yeah, something's up here. He didn't say it, but it's obvious because I'm thinking it too. And he says, "How much did you have to drink?" She says, "I was out, but I'm good." They're trying to figure out where she was at. Ray says at a friend's house. He asks her again, "How much have you had to drink?" And she directs the officer to talk to Ray. But Ray can't answer that question because Ray wasn't with you. So the officer's like, "I can't talk to your husband. Your husband wasn't involved in this situation." She's like, "No, he is, but he's not." You see Ray checking out of this conversation because he's so accustomed to this that he's just trying to follow the lead. He even tells her at one point, when before the officer starts asking her a whole bunch of questions, I would prefer for you not to answer. But Karen is answering here and there and looking at him and doing it. She looks a hot bleep, 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 bleep mess. I was about to say it. That's how upset I am. Because when it comes to DUI, you're putting other people at risk. If you want to go unalive yourself, go ahead and do it. But don't put anybody else at risk because of your stupidity. So Karen is like, when the officer says, how much did you have to drink tonight? And she's like, Ray, are you good? We're not going to answer you, officer. I'm just going to check on my husband. He's like, I'm good. And then Ray says something that's even more stupid. I'm assuming that you had more than you should have. I'm assuming like you had a couple of beers or something like that. Karen then says, yes, that's all I had. You just admitted you were drinking and driving. Thank you. Photos from that same footage not only show the Maserati and the damage, and the tire marks and the path that it took, but it also shows a bottle of a beer inside Karen's car. Now, apparently, she's going to be sentenced in January 29th to be exact, and supposedly they're going to appeal it. But I don't think they should. I don't think they should be appealing anything at all, because this is bad. Now, Karen, as I said, been found guilty on many charges, yada, yada, yada. Her lawyer, Scott Bolden, released a statement on December 18th to People after the jury reached its verdict saying, although we are disappointed in the jury's verdict, we of course respect their decision and appreciate their time hearing our case. We continue to reserve Mrs. Huger's right to appeal and intend to fully pursue justice on her behalf. We appreciate your support and prayers for Mrs. Huger and her family at this time. I'm sorry, but I'm not praying for Karen. Not when it comes to this. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Because she's been found guilty on everything. The trial began on Tuesday and it concluded 2 days after. So what does that say? In her interview on the premiere episode of her show, Karen tried to blame all of this on grief. I think everything that I'm going through contributed to my accident, grief, marriage problems. Everything has come to do with where I am at emotionally right now, which was the state I was in during the incident. During you drunk driving and running off the road. I'm not trying to hear any of that. I'm not. Y'all let me know what you think about this whole situation. Sound off in the comment section. Even those of you who don't watch the show, just based off of what I told you, what do you think about this situation? Because I don't like it. I'm going to leave a link to the YouTube thing. It's 30 minutes long of different video of her. It's body cam footage along with some other stuff. I think that the fact that she showed up on her show and she said all these things, making it seem as though people were lying and pulling this stuff out of thin air, it bothers me. I think that Karen knows very well, and I want you to take a look at the camera footage. I'm going to put a shorter one too so you don't get bored. But I think Karen knows very well that she was wrong in this situation, and because of Karen's pride, she's not going to admit it. But something needs to be done. An example needs to be made. It's not okay to do stuff like this and think that you're going to get away with it. Now, I've been saying I wasn't going to go in too much on Karen until she was found guilty. Karen was now found guilty. And now when I do reviews, I'm going to go in on Karen every chance that I get. I am. Get help. The people around her need to stop protecting her and get her help. Karen, you need to go to rehab. Because you're still denying this and you still aren't being honest about it. And I get it. You're facing a trial. There's certain things you don't want to say. But the fact that it went to trial alone should have let her know how serious this case was. But enough of me rambling and talking in circles. Y'all let me know what you thought of this. Tell me, do you think that Karen should do time? Because this may be an unpopular opinion, but I think she should serve time. She's facing up to 2 years. Let her do something. Because this isn't the first incident, as she calls it, where she was facing a DUI charge. Anyways, let me know your thoughts. Until next time.